Nicola McGeady and welcome to our Premier League preview. We've got another exciting weekend of football to look forward to as Premier League action resumes. And Super Sunday it is indeed. We'll have a Merseyside derby and we'll also have Manchester United travelling to White Hart Lane to take on Spurs. Joining me now with his finger on the pulse is football addict with a slightly heavier heart after Liverpool got beaten. It's Leon Blanche. Okay, Leon, before you start moaning about Manchester United's win, let's move to Saturday. West Ham are playing at home to Arsenal. Avram Grant is under serious pressure at the moment. Can he pull off a shock victory against the Gunners?
Yeah, you are right, Nicola. He is under an awful lot of pressure, but I mean, he's got them to a League Cup semi-final. Yeah. Their league form has improved over recent weeks. Okay, it was a bit of an off night against Newcastle where they got thumped 5-0, but they're playing an Arsenal team who I believe now are starting to believe that they can actually win this Premier League. I don't know how they didn't beat Manchester City. They had plenty of chances, hit the post, hit the crossbar, great saves by Hart off City. But I think Arsenal at 8-13, although it's not a great price, I think they will beat their London rivals. I just don't give much hope for a side. And as we see, Avram Grant, all the papers say he's on a game-by-game basis. That can't transfer into your dressing room because they must also feel the pressure. So I think Arsene Wenger and the young Gunners are going to pile more pressure on Avram Grant. Arsenal to win this one in the late kick-off on Saturday night.
Okay, well the first derby we have to look forward to is between Birmingham and Aston Villa. A little bit closer in the betting this one. What's the odds?
Yeah, it certainly will be a very close affair. 5-4 Birmingham. They're at home. They've got a very, very good home record. Arsenal are the only side to have beaten them there in the last two Premier League seasons. Villa at 9-4 and the draw also at 9-4. A couple of managers here with completely different views from their boardroom. Houllier has been given 3 or 4 games where he has to try and turn it around. There was a big win in the FA Cup away to Sheffield United. And then you look at Alex McLeish. His board are going to back him in the transfer window. It looks as if he's going to sign David Bentley on loan from Spurs, a couple of other players as well. So for the second type of side, Birmingham, who would be a smaller team than Aston Villa, I think that's fair to say, they're the ones who've got the momentum, where Villa now are really struggling. I feel a bit sorry for Houllier. He's had an awful lot of injuries. Yeah. And even the papers, once again, all they want to do is talk about managers under pressure. This one, for me, is going to be very, very tight. Birmingham don't score a lot of goals. Villa concede a couple of goals, so I can see a score draw. 9-4 is what I'm going to go for in the first big game on Sunday afternoon.
Okay, well there's more serious rivalry in the next game between Sunderland and Newcastle. We might see a few red cards. I wouldn't expect anything less. Sunderland are 6-5 to win this game. Yeah. How do you think it's going to fare?
I think this is a home banker. And the reason I say this is because Newcastle gave Sunderland a hiding in the first derby. They'll want revenge for this. Alan Pardew was already under pressure. I don't care that he signed a 5.5-year contract. That means nothing anymore. They were hammered by Stevenage in the FA Cup, literally hammered. I mean,
that was a shock, and you predicted it last week.
I did predict it. I got lucky for once, but Alan Pardew is definitely under pressure. And if they go to Sunderland and they don't perform, and Sunderland inflict a defeat on Newcastle, like what happened at St James's Park, we could see a manager getting the sack after only 6 or 7 games in charge.
The managers are getting sacked every day.
They are. I mean, they've got no security, but they get paid well enough. Look, we've just seen. We'll talk about it in a while. He got a nice few quid. 6 or 7 million is what they reckon Roy Hodgson has got for half a year's work. It's not bad, Nicola. We're in the wrong bloody game. But I think Sunderland, honestly, at home, 6-5, they will beat their close rivals. Steve Bruce is doing an almighty job. They're 6th in the table. Okay, they got knocked out of the FA Cup, but I believe that's going to help them on their push for Europe this season. 6-5, all 3 points for the Black Cats.
Okay, now I know you're dying to talk about Liverpool. He's feeling a bit sore this week after Manchester United deservedly beat them. Despite the questionable penalty, they still would have beat them. Although we have to look at the positives. Liverpool did seem to play with a bit more spirit. They did seem to improve the game. They're going to be without their captain Gerrard, though that's going to be a big knockback. Yeah,
you're dead right. Absolutely right on two counts. The effort was much better under Kenny Dalglish. Why wouldn't it be? He's an absolute cop legend. Gerrard is a huge loss. Gerrard is a massive loss for 3 games, but the only thing to kind of counter that is Tim Cahill is away playing in the Asia Cup for Australia. He's almost as good to Everton as Gerrard is to Liverpool. One thing I can guarantee you, Nicola, is Anfield will be absolutely rocking.
Yeah.
It's King Kenny's home return. Okay, they'll have played Blackpool already in the week, but this is the first game back where Anfield can sing on a hero. And I just think the emotion of the game, the players have already raised their efforts at least 100%. Liverpool, for me, at 11-10, to absolutely squeak by Everton. I think this is going to be nip and tuck for the whole game, and I'm hoping the man they call El Nino, Torres, can finally get his scoring boots on and give Liverpool a much needed derby victory.
Yes, well, hopefully they won't be singing for Dalglish to go out.
No, hopefully not.
Let's move on to the next game between Spurs and Manchester United. United still unbeaten. Can Spurs do it and end that run?
Well, I'm just looking, and I was looking at the kind of recent history between Spurs and United, and Spurs have a terrible record against Manchester United. I always remember that game when they went, I think it was 3-0 up at half time at White Hart Lane, and United came back and beat them 5-3. But this is a different Spurs. Harry Redknapp has actually built a squad that is capable of challenging on all four fronts. They're still in the Champions League, they're obviously in the FA Cup, and they're going for the Premier League 3 fronts. But I do feel in the signing of Raphael van der Vaart, that's the best signing of the entire year for £8 million when you look at some of the money that is being spent. United, I have to give credit to them. They are still unbeaten, and they are the side that everybody has to beat. They are the team that if you can beat them, you might have a chance of actually clawing the back in the league. This is going to be a very tight game. United are 6-4. That's bound to be very popular with people out there.
They haven't upped the gear just yet. They're still,
but this is the thing I'm worried about, is that when they finally have to up a gear, I think they're going to annihilate teams. So 6-4 is a decent price, but I'm not going to go for United. I'm going to go for Spurs, and the reason I'm going for Spurs is because Manchester United, to me, still haven't shown me that they are capable of going to White Hart Lane this season and completely annihilating Spurs. Spurs have got confidence now. They've beaten Chelsea. They've beaten Liverpool. Why shouldn't they beat Manchester United? And this is the reason why I'm going to say to myself, Spurs for all 3 points at 15-8. Get on. We need Fergie beaten.
Okay, there you have it. Leon taking some risks. Join us again next week where we'll have more.